Hello, welcome to another video. This is a Lenovo 300E and it is a Windows laptop. It was very cheap on eBay. It was £33 including postage. And this is the Lenovo 300E second gen. Came out in 2021, October. And comes with a Windows for Education license, which you can see here, and it has a pretty nifty trick up its sleeve. It doesn't have sleeves, obviously, but I'll just show you the laptop. It's got a power button, volume, USB, micro SD, Kensington lock. This we'll come back to later. It's also got USB HDMI out and it's powered with USB-C, and then it's got a headphone socket there. So if you open it up, it folds all the way around and you can use it as a tablet if you want to. But that works because it's got a touchscreen, and some models in here there would be a pen, but this one doesn't have the pen. This is just a plastic cover. But I'll show you something else that is quite neat about this laptop. It was listed as having 4 GB of RAM and a 32 GB drive. It's actually got a 64 GB drive and 4 GB of RAM, and it came with Windows 11 pre-installed. So let's log on, and it still remembered the last time I used it, and there's a trackpad down here, and this is a touch screen, so we can touch it with our hand and use it that way. Here's the processor. It's a Celeron N4120, which is a 4-core processor, 1.1 GHz base speed, but turbos up to 1.9 GHz. It's got 4 GB of RAM, and it's got a 64 gig generic MMC drive. It's also got Wi-Fi and Intel graphics, UHD 600, and let me show you what else you can do. You can use a pencil to draw on the screen. If you don't have the provided stylus, it costs an extra £20 on eBay. You can just use a pencil. This is just a normal pencil and doesn't mark the screen, but you can simply draw on the screen with the pencil, which is rather cool. On their website they have examples of people using this pencil. So in terms of education, that's great, because you're going to lose this stylus, and if you then had to buy another one, it's £20 is a lot of money for a lot of people. So just use a pencil. It's so cool that you can just draw on the screen with this, and if you were good at drawing, you could draw some nice pictures or use it to sign your name or do whatever you want. And flip it over, use it in this mode where you can, if you need to, bring up an on-screen keyboard. It's down here, isn't it? If you wanted to sort of type. But flip it back into laptop mode, you've got a fairly nice keyboard here. And this laptop seems to be really, really solid. Almost like it's got a protective kind of edge. This does feel rubbery. So it looks like it's been designed to withstand kind of not being treated very well. The trackpad's quite large. It's this big, as you can see there. So the trackpad's nice. It's got a surprisingly solid build quality. You know, it's not the thinnest plastic in the world. The sides are quite tough and rubbery slightly. Considering I paid £33 for it, it seems like it's kind of much solider than it really needs to be. There are other listings on eBay at the moment in the UK where the seller will accept offers. I did put an offer on for this. I think the listings are about £39. Let's see if they're still there. Here you go. This is the listing. It says it's got 32 gigabytes. Its price is $39.95 with postage. I think they have a lot. Or maybe this is the last one, but I sent an offer of £33 and they accepted it. And now I have this nice laptop that seems to work quite well. Let's go to YouTube and load a video. And I'll show you WebGL Aquarium. And also Fluid is quite fun with a touchscreen. So here we are, we're getting 60 frames per second. It's currently, yeah, back up to 60 frames per second. That's running really nicely. That's Willis. And we've got a cat now. So let's have a look at WebGL Fluid. This is fun because you can use a touchscreen. And if it supports multi-touch, you can do multiple touches at the same time. So we've got 4 touches. Will it do 5? It looks like it actually supports 5 at a time. Maybe it would support even more. Yep, that's quite impressive that this touchscreen supports so many different, you know, at the same time. So I think that was 7. And we were going to go to YouTube, so we may as well put something on for Willis since she's here. She likes these string ones. Let's just mute this and check the stats. So it's 720p. Let's try 1080p. Oh, it's playing it within the Bing site for some reason. That's quite annoying. Let's go to YouTube and do it in there instead. Okay, we've got full screen. It's running at 720p. Let's see if I can change that to 1080p. The screen resolution is 1366 by 768, so there's not much benefit from going to full HD, except it's good for us to check whether any frames are dropping, and so far none are dropping. It's a glossy screen, as you can see, so reflections can be a bit of an issue, but it does look quite nice considering the resolution. So we're still going. We've had no dropped frames, and I think my cat has lost interest. But in terms of a machine that works, it uses low amount of power thanks to the low power processor. So it's got 5 hours 42 battery remaining on 80%. And yeah, it's a neat little laptop. Let's see if I can do any gaming on it. So it looks like it can turbo up to 2.56 gigahertz. Not sure what it's doing right now. Let's have a quick look what's going on. So it's probably got some updates to perform, as I haven't switched this on for a while. Okay, we're gonna try Minecraft Java Edition and see what it's like. This is real time. This is how long it takes to load. This is Willis. Needs a little bit of a brush. Got very fluffy recently. So we've got Minecraft. Let's see if we can set this to be full screen. Not sure about this trackpad. It doesn't seem to really respond unless I press quite hard. Full screen resolution, current. Where is the full screen? Here we go. On. Let's click done. Go back to the game. You can see it drawing the chunks, but sometimes it seems smooth, sometimes not so smooth. Can we find a fish? And some fish over there. Let's see. What do you think of the fish, Willis? I think she's watching one of them. Definitely quite a bit of slowdown. There's a chicken. And the trackpad doesn't seem the most responsive. Let's see if we can get the frame rate up. So we're getting 22 frames per second up to about 29 frames per second. Here's all our processor information, resolution. Oh yeah, it's a touchscreen, isn't it? So that doesn't seem like a good idea. Let's see what frame rate we get now. So 25, 22, 25 frames per second. Not the best experience, but up to 30 frames per second at times. You know, you could certainly play it if you had nothing else to play this on. Let's have a look again. 27 frames per second. Yeah, it's around 30 frames per second, with some slowdown at times. But it's also a very quiet computer. I don't think there's going to be a fan in there. Should we have a look inside and see what we find? So I'll just shut this down. It's going to want to do some updates. So once that's done, we'll have a look what's inside this laptop. Okay, so let's take this apart. Watch out, Willis, it's going to get you. Oh no, don't go. Stay. Although I suppose cat fluff inside a laptop is not the best idea. This unclips, and I think we have got a fairly neat tray. I think I've only lost one little bit of plastic in terms of the clips that hold it together. This is where the stylus goes. So if we spin this around, you can see that there's this section here where a stylus would go, and it's even got a little metal contact there. I think that's to charge the stylus, but this has just got this little placeholder here instead. It would go along here. Got these speakers, they look pretty sizable. Oh, they've actually got foam on them. That's quite nice. This is all sort of foam. We've got this battery, which is a 3635 mAh, 11.25 volts. And we've got this motherboard cable going across here. And this is interesting. This little bit Wi-Fi adapter. And unfortunately, all the interesting things are on the other side of this, which is a shame because it would be interesting to see the processor set up. This is the hinge. It looks quite neat. Quite impressed how they can manage to have this cable go through here and it be able to sort of twist all the way around so that the screen can fold all the way back upon itself. This is the Wi-Fi cables going up there. How many screws do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3 if we wanted to go under there, and we've also got this battery speaker connection. Got this going over to this side. Got the battery and another connection there. That's a small ribbon cable. Quite a bit of sort of thought. Oh look, there's an extra slot here. So that would be for an extra drive by the looks of things. That's pretty cool with this little screw mount here. So is this little heat sink for it, so that if you do add a drive, this is better than I expected. I think we will have to have a look to see what's on the other side. That is the battery model name and numbers over here, in case you need that. So I've unscrewed these screws as well. The build quality of this seems significantly better than the HP Stream laptops that I have looked at. I'm trying to flip this over without having to unplug this. But I guess I may as well, since it may save problems down the line. So this should come out, and we flip it over. We've got some sticky thing here, and we've got a large heatsink that is covering probably the processor and memory, or memory could be spread over, and that could be the MMC. So these are one of these is the Wi-Fi, and then one is, I think, an NVMe slot. So we're going to find, I think, memory that is soldered onto the board that can't be upgraded. And that will be that. And of course we won't be able to upgrade the processor because that will also be soldered to the board. But it is nice to see that there is a spare slot and there's nothing sort of stopping us from expanding that if needed. So there we go. Got some thermal paste on the processor. And this is a ITE chip, so this is probably the MMC. And we've got 2 bits of memory there, and it could have had more, so that's also quite interesting. And that is the heatsink for this processor. Thermal paste has a little bit of stickiness, but we may as well replace it while we're here. Okay, I've screwed that back in after putting thermal paste on there. Once you've got fingerprints on this, it's pretty difficult to try and remove them. They seem to be there permanently, so you'll definitely be able to tell if someone's been inside one of these and taken it apart, because it'll probably look something like this. And putting it back together should be fairly straightforward. Just a case of reversing the process and making sure we connect all the different cables and connections. Here's a closer look at the board. Interesting, it says for 300E win only here. Has the part number, Lenovo win. So I'm guessing there's a Chrome version of this. BM5860 version 1.3b. You can look at this hinge if you want. Looks quite solid. And I'm going to put this in. Hopefully this will work. It's a little PCIe Gen 3 128GB NVMe drive. So hopefully that will fit in here. And we can see what the performance of this is compared to the built-in MMC. Okay, so I've put that in, and ideally I'd put a screw in there, but I'm just going to try it first to see what it's like. I'm going to plug the battery in and we'll see what happens. Okay, we're back in Windows, and on the left we've got the built-in drive, the MMC, and on the right we've got the 120GB NVMe that I connected. So I'll let this run through both of these and we'll compare the read and write speeds of both the drives. So as you can see, the read and write speeds of the internal storage, the MMC drive, pretty slow, and the NVMe drive considerably quicker. 4 times faster, more than 5 times faster, twice as fast, 4 times faster, and again write speeds much quicker than the write speeds over here. So if you do have one of these and want to get more speed from it as well as more storage, an NVMe drive is a good way to do that. Although you'll have to install the operating system on this drive to get all of the benefits. The memory is DDR4 RAM. The processor is very low power at 6 watts, and that's really going to help with the battery life of this system. The CPU temperatures seem respectable, maximum 69 degrees C, and I'll run this performance test and show the results once that's completed. And these are the results for Passmark. So I've got 2,725 for the CPU mark, and that's actually not too bad. It's probably around, I don't know, an i5 something or other, 4300, 5600, 6200 maybe. So, you know, that's not terrible. It's not, you know, as good as an 8th gen Intel CPU, but for the price of this laptop, for kind of overall, that for me would be usable for basic web use, Word, etc. And for the price, I think it's pretty good. The fact that this is a touchscreen is really nice as well, and seems to be built quite solidly. And we can add an NVMe drive. So this laptop, you know, even though it is kind of low power, low CPU, a Celeron, still pretty good, and you can probably do a little bit of light gaming. Maybe not Minecraft until you turn quite a lot of the settings down, but I think it'll probably run a few things if you really wanted to. Here's our memory mark, 847, disk mark. Not sure if that is using has tested both or just the internal. It looks like it's just tested the internal because that's pretty low read and write speeds. Memory pretty good. 3D mark pretty low. 2D mark pretty low. But CPU mark, for me, that looks okay. And it certainly seems noticeably better than the HP Stream laptops that I've been looking at. So if you do want a really cheap laptop, have a look at this Lenovo 300E second generation. If it's really cheap on eBay and it's all you can afford, then I think it's okay. It's not completely terrible. It's actually pretty good. It's got some nice little features. Being able to use a pencil on this is pretty cool. And the build quality is pretty good. So yeah, even though this can't have the memory upgraded, you can upgrade the drive in it. So that's pretty good. And it should be good enough for basic use. And it's also capable of running Windows 11 if you're interested in Windows. So yeah, overall, I'm quietly impressed by this laptop, especially as postage was free as well. If you've got this far, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you want. Feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if you've found some nice bargains in terms of second-hand laptops. And if you want to become a channel member, you can. That helps support the channel, helps me fund looking at things like this. And I think if you want, you can click the links in the description, as that also helps support this channel. Thanks again, and see you in another video. Bye.